How's it going, everyone? This is Badass Reviewer, and today I will be taking a look at the Marvel Legends Infinite Series Odin Build-A-Figure, and it's also the King Thor Build-A-Figure, which we'll get into in a second. He's growing on me a little bit. When I first got him, I was kind of like, he's not all that great. But I definitely like the King, or the Odin Build-A-Figure part of him. I don't really like the King Thor version, and I'll get into that in a second when we kind of check that out. He just seems he seems not as big as you would expect. He seems kind of thin. Not to say he's a small character, but if we look at the new Thor figure, he's significantly a little bit smaller. I feel like Odin should be a little bit bigger. Maybe that's just a slight thing, but I think another problem is his arms, because his arms don't seem as big as I would like. Maybe if they had just used like the Thor arms, I might have been okay with that. Not to say this is bad. I just feel like there's some problems with proportions to this guy, and it's just kind of weird. But with that being said, I do think the Odin BAF is pretty good for the most part. I do have some problems with paint, which we'll look at the head sculpt here. Which the head sculpt is very nice. However, they didn't paint his eyeball on right, so he has like a very off-centered eye, and I can see where the eye is supposed to be because it's sculpted in. But at first I didn't realize that his eye was messed up. I was like, well, his eye is really weird looking. And then I realized it's not centered, so it looks kind of stupid. So I'm gonna have to get another head or something. I kind of thought about just maybe trying to get the paint off and just color his eye white, which would be fine for me, or just paint it white and put a little black dot in there or something. That's the only problem I have with this head. He just has a screwed up eye, but otherwise it's very nicely sculpted. I like it quite a bit. May have put a little shading in there, but nothing too serious. If you look at the back of it like this, it looks really weird. Like he's got a really long face, but it's his beard. So anyways, pretty nice. Pop that on. Detail all around. He's got a reuse of the Thor cape, which is just painted blue for Odin here. This can be removed, obviously, because you have to remove it to put King Thor's cape on there, which is just a reused version of Thor's. Looking at the staff is pretty nice. It's not anything special. It's just kind of a molded or a golden piece of plastic in the shape of his staff, which is nice, and he can hold pretty well, so I don't have any complaints there. So that's cool. Detail on the torso piece, it's pretty good. It's not a whole lot of shading, although it looks like they tried to and it then just kind of gave up on it. It's like a dark silver, but then they started putting some black in there. It's kind of minimal, but at least they tried, I guess. It's more down here where you kind of see that it's a little bit more detailed with the paint. Although I don't know if maybe it's just the way they molded it, or how so. Maybe it's just paint, but it does look kind of cool. It kind of looks like old kind of medieval metal, if that makes sense. Kind of like how armor would look in the medieval times. And his boots are very nice looking, so that's also very nice. Sculpting wise, pretty decent. This little thing is a separate piece. I don't know if he's supposed to have a T right there for Odin. I don't know. I don't think Odin has that, so that's kind of weird, and I wish that wasn't there at all because it kind of takes away from the figure. But that's just something minimal to, you know, point out if anybody would even notice. But let's look at the articulation on this part of Odin real quick, because the articulation is kind of different when we get to Thor, but not very much. So his head can actually look around quite nicely, so you can get some pretty good articulation out of it. It goes up and down, left and right. Arms can go in and out, rotate 360 degrees, but it's going to pop the arms off, or the cape off, but it can do that. Rotates at the bicep, bends at the elbow, but not very much. It's not even a 90 degrees, which is kind of unfortunate. And then they gave him a elbow swivel. He has a hinge in the wrist as well as a swivel. Diaphragm does not go forward. It goes back, but it's kind of pointless because I don't need him to go back, and the cape is in the way, so it just kind of pops off. which is dumb. No waist articulation. His legs can go forward and back, in and out. Rotates at the upper part of the thigh. Double jointed knees, a hinge in the foot, as well as an ankle rocker. So articulation is decent, although with Odin, he doesn't move around too much. He's more of a stationary kind of character, at least from my experience of the character. If you need to put him in an action pose, it wouldn't be very hard. But for the most part, articulation for Odin is okay with me. Nothing too crazy. I just wish the arms were a little bit bigger, because when you take the cape off, he looks really scrawny, and it just kind of looks weird up in here. So anyways, for the King Thor, I don't really like too much, and I was gonna build both of them, but after, you know, building him for this version, or just building him with what I have right now, I don't like it very much, so I decided I'm not gonna waste money on buying more figures that, you know, to build the second version. I don't really care. Anyways, so the cape, you plug it in. It's kind of hard because the hole's way down here, and then the actual thing for this is down here, and you have to hook these kind of around it. But what you'll do, well, actually, let's put the arm on first. So, sorry, I'm gonna have to do this off camera. You pop the arm off. You have the destroyer arm for King Thor, which is actually nicely detailed. I like this quite a bit. I would have Odin have it, but it doesn't look right for him, although it is still pretty cool. So that's nice. It's nicely detailed. It's got some nice sculpting work on it. Very nice. So nothing to complain about there. And then now we'll put the cape on. You kind of got it to like force it downward and get it in the hole. Now my problem with this this cape is, for some reason, it doesn't stay hooked on as good as this one. This one like kind of wraps around more up to here, this little piece here. See, it's kind of like off to the side, which is weird. And it doesn't stay on very well, so it pops off a lot easier than the Odin version. But there we have Thor. He is okay looking. The hair is very plain, it's just white, and then he kind of reminds me of like Chewbacca's head. If you pop his head off, it's just weird looking because it looks like a weird helmet. But articulation is very much restricted with this head. It doesn't look up or down at all. It's hard to move left and right because of the sculpting of the collar up here. He has this hammer which holds very poorly unless you put it in this one, which is a little bit more tight. This arm is probably just, it's not as stiff in this arm because he holds his staff with that one. And as you can see, this cape just fell off. But yeah, once you put it in this one, he holds it a little bit better. And then where's this stupid sword? He's got this big sword, like I said, and I'm pretty positive it's more for the King Thor Build-A-Figure, because there's a, not a picture, but in the comics he uses the sword and his hammer, which he holds it very well, but like I said, I don't really care for this King Thor too much. I really don't have any reason to display him or anything, but I guess if you like King Thor, there you go. Articulation's all the same. This one still doesn't move very much, and I feel like it might even move a little bit less. So there's that. Like I said, the head doesn't move very much either, so it kind of sucks. I don't really care for it, so I'll just keep him as Odin. Overall, the wave is pretty solid. If you like, well, pretty solid. That's a very loose way to say it. I like this wave a lot. It's probably one of my favorites. Hasbro's been really doing a good job. I can't find his arm now. Hasbro's been doing a good job with their figures, so you know, I hope they keep at it. I can't wait for the next wave of Legends to come out in the near future, so that'll be awesome. Would I pick this wave up? Absolutely. It has a lot of heavy hitter figures such as Scarlet Witch, Captain Marvel, Hawkeye, the Iron Fist was good, Machine Man was surprisingly good, Thor's okay, and I think Sentry's probably, I think Sentry's becoming like my least favorite out of that wave just because he has a lot of problems. Anyways, that's my review, guys. I hope you liked it a lot. Maybe I'll do a kind of a discussion over the wave entirely at some point, but I have a lot of other things going on at the moment. So just stay tuned for more future reviews and check out my older reviews, and I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll talk to you later.